Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Hi guys, welcome back to another video, and it was such a pleasure to speak to you all the other day in the live chat, and if you didn't see that, then please go ahead and click on the link up above and go and check out that first ever live chat that Mel and I did. Now we will be doing another one this Friday, so if you missed last week's one, then please be sure to tune in on this coming Friday and we will catch up and have a chat then. I hope you all enjoyed it. It seemed like you did, and we had an absolute blast doing it. So yeah, we look forward to seeing you then. Today we're going to be talking about the results of the DVLA. Now a little while ago, probably February, March time, I made a video showing you guys how I filled out my forms to change my classification of my van from a commercial vehicle panel van into a camper van. Now I will show you here on my left, I will split the screen down and I will show you the photos of the actual application that I sent in. I took photos of all of the sides of the outside of the van. I also took photos of the features inside the van, as in the gas cooking facilities, the front seats, the seating area, the fixed bed, and anything else that I thought was relevant to show it being a camper van. Now there is a checklist that you have to download from the DVLA, and you also have to include those specific photos that they ask you for. Now the first time that I showed you on the video, I actually printed off all of the photos and put them on a couple of sheets of A4 paper, but then I realized that that wasn't good enough. I needed to print off each photo of a large enough size and then cut them out individually, and I actually wrote on the back of each photo the registration of the vehicle and also the actual itemized photo according to the checklist. So again, I will insert the photo of what I did here so that you can check it out for yourselves. Now I ticked off each of those tick boxes on that checklist to make sure that I covered everything. However, on the lower section, it also specified a few things on the external features of the van that you needed to show that it was a camper van. For me, I didn't have an awning and I didn't have exterior decals, and those are two things that I wasn't prepared to put on the van because I knew A, that I was going to sell the van and not keep it, and B, that's a lot of expense just to pass the vehicle and potentially put it forward for being a camper van, and who knew whether that was actually going to be accepted or not by the DVLA. So that's quite a lot of expense, and I'm sure you guys have also had that query if you're thinking about putting your reclassification through. Do you want to spend £600–800 on making those changes and then still having it rejected as a camper van? I sent it in as it was with the photos that I could give them, filled in all the form, and then also on my V5C I wanted to change the seating because in the front cab I had taken out the bench seat and I had put in a single captain's chair, and so I needed to change on the V5C from it being 3 seats down to 2. So I also made that change. The final change that I also wanted to do was the fact that I sold the van. Now in my previous videos when I talked about filling in the forms and I did the whole DVLA issue, a lot of you asked me how long it took for the results to come back. Now I must confess that I didn't send the form off straight away. I did and ah about it because I had heard from so many of you that you had sent your forms in and then it had been a huge delay to get the form back. And I didn't want that issue to be a problem because I was trying to sell the van at the time. So I held off, and I'm really sorry that I wasn't able to give you an answer until now, and that is because I just purely didn't want the forms to be either with the DVLA for too long or lost in the post while I was trying to sell the van. So now that that has all happened, I then sent off the forms with those adjustments, like I said, and also combined it with the new buyer's details. Now I know a lot of you will probably be commenting down below saying, well, you can do it all online. And the fact is, yes, you can do it online, but I wanted to actually do it in person with the paperwork, with all the photos, and do everything all in one go. I'm just quite old-fashioned like that. I prefer to do it with the paperwork and do it the old-fashioned way. Having sold the van about a month ago now, I then obviously sent off the paperwork with the new buyer's details, with the seat change, and with the photos and the checklist to make it a change from a panel van into a camper van. Now, this is the results. On my left here, I'm going to insert the letters that I had returned along with my V5C. And the result, after all that hard work and a lot of fingers and toes crossed, it still came back van with windows. So, you know, a lot of you will probably say, oh, well, it's because you haven't had an awning put on, you haven't had the decals put on, and it doesn't look like a camper van in traffic for the police and special services to notice it. And that always seems to be the answer. You know, it's this specification that it must be recognisable as a camper van. Is that for safety reasons? I don't actually understand that argument, because surely whether it's a camper van or a van, there's still going to be people inside it, and it's still going to be treated the same as any other vehicle. But let me know in the comment section down below what you think that take is on that line, because why does it have to be recognisable in a line of traffic? I mean, there are so many people in this community now that haven't got it classified as a camper van. I mean, are we not going to be able to have special, you know, emergency services tend to us because we're not classed as a camper van? I honestly don't know this argument, so I'd be really interested to know what your thoughts are, and maybe I'm coming across as a bit silly and not really understanding the argument. So there you have it, the big disappointment that my van has been rejected for being a camper van, and that it is still a van with windows. I'm trying to think of that as a positive, because therefore it's a van, it's not a camper van, so maybe there's some leeway there in terms of parking restrictions and parking overnight. But I know that's very debatable and a grey area, and I'm sure there will be many comments to talk and discuss about that. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. You know, is it a good idea and a good thing that it's not classed as a camper van, or is it a bad thing? My only thoughts is that I would like it to be classed as a camper van for insurance purposes, but again, maybe that's not important. Let me know what insurers that you have been with, and if you've ever had to claim, what has the situation been like? Have you had the value of the van and the conversion covered? Mel has just recently changed his insurance to a new company, and we're going to see what that's like, because at the end of the day, for people that do live full-time in their vans, there is obviously more value going around in the vehicle. But then on the other hand, whether you live full-time or not, there is still a huge amount of cost that goes into these vehicles, and you want to know that it's protected and it's safe when you're traveling. So yeah, that's an interesting topic, and it sort of does flag up the thought that, you know, if it's just a van with windows, is it covered or is it not? So there you have it, guys. It still was declined. Who knows? They don't actually make it really clear. They just say that it's not recognisable in traffic. But I mean, that's a debatable thing. I really just don't understand that argument at all. But if any of you have been successful recently, let me know what your letter says from the DVLA, because I'd be really interested to see how they word it. One of these days they will have to change the rules, because more and more people are finding this way of life, and they are finding that it's a cheaper way of travelling in general. I think going forwards we really need to build this community together and stop the stigmatism of van life being a cheap way out of living. It's just an alternative way of living, and the way that the world is going and the cost of living, more and more people are going to be going towards this way of life. So if we can just band together and create it to be an amazing, wonderful family built community, I think they're going to have to change it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you've been enjoying the last few videos that I've been posting. Again, I've got loads more van tours coming up, and we've been having an absolute blast while we've been here in Cornwall. I will see you in the next one, guys. Take care. Bye! Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that I am posting loads more on Instagram recently and on Patreon. So if you don't follow me over on those two platforms, then the links are down below. I would love to see you over there. Take care. Bye!